201. All right. I am Stephanie Shields with Sensapillow MedSpa. And if you guys are here on YouTube, it means that somehow you typed in something that brought you to the great internet web of cool YouTube videos. So I'm here today with Olivia, and Olivia and I met, officially started talking off of a Facebook post. So Olivia, tell me a little bit about that. Like, what brought you to my Facebook post originally?
Well, I was looking for some hair reduction, like most of us do. And, you know, you go through Yelp, you go through Google, you search, you have no idea where you're going. So I actually searched for trans-specific hair depilation. Am I saying that right?
Depilation, yep.
And I came across Senza, and just reading the Yelp reviews, I was like, okay, this sounds like who I need to go to in the Phoenix area. So then I found you guys on Facebook, and you had posted something with the flag in the background, and I responded to that, and then we started communicating. And I was in Kansas City at the time.
Oh, whoa. That's right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You weren't even here in Phoenix yet. Oh
no,
my God.
I was preparing to move back to Phoenix. And so I was like, yeah, when I get down there, I want to come see you guys and talk. And yeah, that's how we met on Facebook. And then I came in, and here we are.
And here we are. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm really glad that I just think it's so cool where we've gotten to. I can remember in my youth watching my mother try to reach out to the community. It was so much more along the lines of put it in a publication, like a paper publication, and hope and pray that somebody would answer. And of course, they did. Otherwise, you know, these 38 years of working with the community would not exist. But nowadays, it's almost as if the search has become so much easier. I mean, what to type in our search engines, not necessarily, it's like, okay, we could say transgender hair removal, but at the same time, sometimes just writing that word down is just like, okay, just type in hair removal. Let's see what we can get from there. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
You just do the hair removal, you get like all these different places. But yeah, it's I think keying in and drilling down, and then what I do is go look at reviews. I look at forums or any Facebook groups these days, to be honest, and see or try to find people who's had the services from who I'm looking for. It's how I narrowed down my 5 FFS surgeons. It's how I narrowed down my BA surgeon, things like that. It's very commonplace. I mean, that's the way we do things now. So
yeah, search engines, gotta love them.
Yes.
So now, even though you and I have been going through the process of hair removal, we've had interruptions in our process because of having FFS done and having surgeries. Sometimes you have to postpone the process because there's downtime required by surgeons, there's downtime required by us to make sure that your skin holds up nicely in between. Do you feel as though you would have preferred going complete hair removal first and then FFS, or are you okay with having those breaks in time, knowing that your timeline has increased?
Can it be both?
It could totally be both. Absolutely.
I'll put it this way. Okay, so if I had my hair removal done completely, or as much completely as one can be, prior to my FFS, I feel like the FFS would have been a little bit smoother as far as recovery. You know, because you got all this stuff going on in your face, and then you're trying to go somewhere, and you're like, oh, I need to take all this hair, I need to shave, and you know, you're swollen, and so it would have been a lot easier. I can't speak from a surgeon's perspective. I'm sure it's easier for them as well. One thing I wish I had done was the upper lip, because that's such a pain, because I had the lip lift. So now I have hair all the way up here that I have to take care of.
Yes.
Was there before. So yeah, it's a little challenging sometimes. I think it would have been easier if I had it all done before my FFS. Now, having said that, it's okay. You know, we work around it. You guys are great. What I like most about Senzapelo is you are so familiar with all the stuff we go through. You know, I'll barely breathe out when I'm procedure I have coming up. You're like, oh yeah. We got to wait for about 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, and I'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what the doctor said. I mean, it's awesome. And whereas with other places, and I did have a trial electrolysis thing back in Kansas City, which went horribly, by the way. Whole nother story. And you know, they are not, you know, familiar with doctors and procedures and transgender patients, and so they have no idea. You're like, oh yeah, we can do this up until the day you have it, and you're like, not what my doctor said. So not having to go through all that and having to educate the person that is working on you is a big bonus in my book. And, you know, one thing, I never mentioned this. When I first visited you guys physically, the representation meant wonders for me. You know, you have staff that is transgender, and that just meant the world to me. And you know, when you see that representation, that's just, that honestly, before I even had FaceTime with you, kind of sold me. It's like, wow.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so I mean, and on the same way with my surgeons and stuff, if my surgeon's transgender who did my BA, that was a big, you know, I did look at her work, don't get me wrong. And but you know, that was a big attractor to me. You know, my therapist is transgender, so I like keeping it in the community because they have the experience, they know what we go through as patients, so they can empathize. And having someone on your staff that is of, you know, the transgender experience just adds to that. Because if you have a question that you're not too comfortable asking a patient, you can always ask her, I assume. And you know, so that means, you know, a ton to me. So just,
well, I really appreciate that, because I mean, really at the end of the day, you know, when we brought her on because she was part of our Senzapelo family to begin with. We knew that she knew what Senzapelo's mission is, and we want to have, you know, success for our patients, but really at the end of the day, we want to make sure that every person, when you walk in the door, yes, I'm not transgender, but when you walk in the door, you know that Stephanie knows what you're going through, or Maria, or any of the girls. I mean, really, truly, everybody that's there, we make sure that that we have taken the time and made that extra effort to understand the steps of transition. And, you know, early on in my life, watching some of my now almost, we could call them aunts, go through gender surgery or gender-based surgeries, it was so different. You know, there wasn't someone that represented the community. It was like, okay, go for somebody that's going to do the best by me that I can find. And so now we have representation in the community, and we have people, you know, one of the things about me as a technician, I'm also an educator, and I go out and I speak to other electrologists about how to create that comprehensive treatment plan for our patients that are going through transition, because there is a uniqueness to working with the transgender patient. It's not cookie cutter. It's not, you're not working with a cis female face. Now, the cool thing is when you are working with the uniqueness of the transgender client, your treatment of a cis female face will become easier because you've already tackled hormone-based, strong testosterone-based hair removal. And now we're going off of an adaptation of that. So one of my things that I champion is making sure that you don't have experiences like you had in your first electrolysis experience, where they didn't understand what you needed and what you were going through. At the end of the day, we make sure that if someone is flying into us, for example, and we're doing a bulk clearing, we then communicate with their hometown electrologist and say, okay, we got them as clear as possible, just go in there for the cleanup. They understand now how to get more confident and more comfortable with the community, because we need more electrologists out there that do have that representation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, you know, that is a good point. More would be better, because it can be very difficult to find someone, especially if you're in rural areas or you're in not so friendly cities, which is kind of odd. You'd think Kansas City would be super friendly, and it is generally in attitude, but in resources, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to find resources in certain areas. So yeah, the more the merrier.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, really, truly, it's there are 11 of us in the office, obviously not electrologists, but 11 technicians in the office doing different things. We need more throughout the valley, throughout, you know, the country. It just has to be that way. Now, when you first came into your consultation with me, we went over what to expect through your process, like what kind of grow out you're going to need to have, what kind of timeline you're going to have. Even with the interruptions with surgeries, do you find as though there was stuff that we didn't cover in your consultation that we kind of like figured out along the way? Or did you feel like it was pretty much like from the start, you knew what you were biting into and it was just a matter of getting through the whole elephant?
You explained everything really well. Let me preface it with that. My retention, I was on Spiro at the time. I was fog brain all over the place for a while. So I did not realize at the start, and a lot of people don't know this, I didn't realize the commitment at the start. Yes, you covered it. I know that for a fact. I remember you talking about it. I just don't remember the specifics about it. And I remember you saying, oh, it's probably going to take a couple years. You know, you're not that bad, but, you know, there's some work to be done, and et cetera, et cetera. I remember those aspects of the conversation. But, you know, looking back and hearing it and then looking at where I'm at now, it's like, oh, come on, let's go. Why isn't this done yet? Oh, my gosh, where are we at? Oh, it's at 9 months or 10 months or whatever. Why am I not further along? Oh, yeah, that's right. I had this surgery. I had to stop for a while. Oh, yeah, COVID. Couldn't get in for ever and a day. Oh, yeah, this. Oh, yeah, you know. So, you know, a lot of people don't understand that it's not just a, hey, go in one time, get it done. You know, just like with our hormones, you know, a lot of friends didn't realize that this is a lifelong commitment. You know, I'll be taking hormones for the rest of my life, regardless of surgeries, you know, to some degree. And it's not a one and done thing, or, you know, 3 or 4 months. You know, it takes a very long time to get certain things done and meet certain goals. Same with FFS. Healing times year, 18 months for everything to just be where it's going to be. I'm still healing from it. And I had mine in November 2019. So my nose isn't quite done yet. It's close. I can feel it. But there's still a little bit of swelling right there that I'm waiting on. So it's just the expectation going in, knowing that, yes, it's going to take time, but then actually letting it sink in. Oh, this is really going to take time. And especially when you go in for an hour or 2 session, and then, you know, a couple days later after your skin's calmed down, you're like, oh, that's so smooth and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then a couple weeks down the road, another phase kicks in or whatever. And you get these hairs, you're like, oh, what? So, you know, it's just trying to keep all that in mind that, you know, let's keep it realistic. It's going to take some time. You're not where you were. It's better. It's just not perfect. And it may never be perfect, but you understand, I'm sure.
Oh, our goal is to strive for perfection on that one. The thing is like, and I tell this to my trans clients, I tell it to my cis clients, at the end of the day, our hormones are going to waver throughout our entire life. Okay. Right. And if you have the propensity to grow hair, okay, and I attack every follicle and we kill every follicle over time, right? There's still follicles that have never produced a hair, that something can happen, whether it be a stressor in life, whether it be a hormonal change, whether it be a medicinal change, that now that follicle that was inactive can become active. So I think back to myself. I am an Italian woman that has a hormone imbalance, and I already had, you know, most of my electrolysis done. But then once I had my kids, one kiddo made me hairless. The next kiddo made me hairy, right? And so you think to those things, and yeah, we treated all the follicles, and I was hairless for a very long time. But I had like, after my second one, I had like a hair here, a hair here, a hair, and I was just like, oh. Now, were those hairs active at the time of my electrolysis? Absolutely not. But I am an Italian woman with a hormone problem. So at the end of the day, the follicles are there, and we just have to kill them once they become active. So what we're treating right now for you, it will go away and it breaks down, and you're seeing that. But say, for example, you discontinue using HRT, hormone replacement therapy, or you decide, to forego certain surgeries that might help that. Sorry, hiccup. If you decide to have that change, follicles that are inactive right now that have never grown a hair, they still can have a hair grow. And so that's when we attack those ones. That's when we go after those pop-ups. So that's definitely something to think about. And I mean, thank goodness you never really had I look back to some of your old pictures, you never really had a full beard.
Difficult. It used to frustrate me when I was trying to pass as a guy.
Yeah, you're like,
could never gain weight, could never really grow. I used to get teased. My own father used to, you can't grow a beard, and I'd be like, oh, shut up. And now I'm like, I am so glad, I didn't have to deal with hair down here. So happy. I was very fortunate, and I can't imagine the pain some people have to go through, because there's hair everywhere on some people.
Oh yeah.
Go through all that. I just can't imagine that, But my biggest challenge is my calico thing I got going. And now on top of it, I have gray hairs, but red hair, blonde hair, brown hair. Can't do all laser and get a big bunch of it done. Yeah, we attacked some with laser. We did do that blended mode for a little while and got some of that gone. But then it's all like, okay, now it's red, blonde, and gray. So, and that's another thing people don't realize. They think, oh, I can just go get laser. I heard it's going to be 5 or 6 times. Well, what's your skin type? Well, what color's your hair? How thick is your hair? It's all these different variables that you don't realize until you start getting treatments for it. So.
Oh yeah. I had black hair all over my body. Does not mean I had all laser all over my body. Now, I'd say like 99% of my body was done with laser, but there are hairs that just can't be seen. And so you got to get electrolysis done. And the calico is a really great term. I would definitely say for what's going on, you got a little bit of quasi, right? Hanging out, quasi.
Not calico.
Not a calico, just multiple colors. That's for cat. But that's the thing is, like, those multiple colors require a different approach. And the other part of it is you bruise like a peach. Your skin is tender. We have to be really careful when we treat you to make sure that we're giving you the proper downtime that is necessary. Now, the cool thing is you're working remotely, so nobody else has to witness the bruising. And when you are out and about, right? When you are out and about, you get to wear a mask, but at the same time, like when we do injections, they last forever for you. So we just have to take that into consideration. So I definitely think that it's like, while you might not have as much hair, you definitely still had the things that were the struggle for your transition.
Right.
Right. So
yeah. Irish heritage.
Woo! That's great. Well, is there anything more? Because I really appreciate the time you've taken with me today, because I really do feel like these videos, they're helping people that are sitting there just searching YouTube, trying to figure out if they have a chance, right? Is there anything more that you would like to add as a voice in the community? Everybody's transition is different, but is there anything else you'd want to add?
It's never too late. I'm not the oldest, but I'm certainly not one of the youngest to transition. I started when I was 49, I'm 51. So, and I'm sure that has play into the whole treatment plan as well. We didn't even talk about that, but I'm not a young spring chicken. I'm not 20. So,
Yeah, they go much faster.
yeah, now we're racing everything. Oh no, wrinkles. Oh no, get some Botox. Oh no, go do this, go do that. So yeah, it's never ending. It's awesome. That would be what I would add. It's just like, don't think it's too late. You know, I tried for so long to conform. And finally just reached a point where I'm like, yeah, you know, it's my life. I'm gonna be happy. And so that's my message. Just don't think it's too late. I know people that are in their 70s that have started transitioning. So
Oh yeah, we've had them on our table right now. I'm working on a 74-year-old. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's it is never too late to be yourself. And that is so, I mean, if I could take one thing away from my time with the community, it's that it is so important to be authentic and to be yourself and to be what you expect you to be. There's nobody else that you need to be. You just be yourself, be authentic. And that's huge. So thank you. Thank you for that continued lesson in my life, because I hope that I pass it on to my kids. I hope I pass it on to my community, because at the end of the day, that is huge.
well, we really appreciate you. At least I do. So
Oh,
your whole family's awesome in my opinion. So, and that's another thing we didn't talk about. You know, I didn't know your mom and dad was your mom and dad forever. And I'm talking, and then it's like, oh, okay, all right, this is cool. But everybody's just awesome there. I just love the place. So
thank you so much. Yeah, we are definitely a family affair. There's 4 of us in that office, making sure it runs it runs well. And and I mean, it's just
I'm
during
expecting
these
my cousin to pop up sometime. Oh, this is my cousin Penny.
trust me, it'll happen. You know, it's funny because there's times where I think a couple weeks ago when you were in the office, I said, "Oh, hold on a second, my aunt, I have to say something to her," or something like that. And it's our family's coming in because they support what we're doing as well. But it's so important to those values that you have within your family to put them into your business, especially during these COVID times. I mean, just taking the importance of, you know, what we're seeing as a community and making sure that everybody knows that, like, hey, we care, we want to make sure you're okay, and we're going to do all that we can to make sure that that happens. It's because our family is all here. You guys are our family, and so that's our thoughts. Yes. So, all right, sweetie. Well, I think that I have stolen enough of your morning. But I just want to say thank you one more time. And I can't wait to see you on the table. Hopefully that's soon.
Yeah, it's
Huh?
yeah, in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make some hair removal happen. And I'll see you online. With lidocaine. Are you doing the lidocaine?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Love lidocaine.
a couple weeks ago when she was last on the table. She finally kind of like caved and got the lidocaine injections done. And you are a true believer now, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It's yes, worth it. Worth it.
I love that. All right, sweetheart. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for your time today. And I'll make sure when I upload this later, I tag you so you can go ahead and share this with all your friends and family. Yes, I like seriously, absolutely just love our time. Have a great day, okay?
You too, sweetie. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.